Hi folks, Mayor Kevin Davis at the Civic Center. I'm here with Brian Hutchings, the City Chief Administrative Officer, and we're talking about the Brantford Bulldogs coming to Brantford. Well, first of all, let's talk about why is this a good thing for the city of Brantford to have the OHL Hamilton Bulldogs in Brantford as a Brantford Bulldog?
Listen, before I came to Brantford, I'm from the Niagara region and St. Catharines particularly, and when the Niagara Ice Dogs came to St. Catharines, we saw a change in the community. We saw people gathering, getting together. It wasn't about hockey. It's about getting together and having some civic pride. If you ever want to see community in the Niagara region, go to an Ice Dogs game. You'll see young kids, older people, every facet of life there, enjoying socially as well as the sport.
And the hockey's at a great level as well.
Oh, it's just below the NHL.
Yep.
Most of these people you'll see on your TV on a Saturday night playing in the NHL. So
a couple years later,
yeah. So great athletes and great. They're on a great trajectory to play in the NHL.
And they really hustle because they're trying to make the NHL. And many times the scouts are in the stands and they know that.
Oh yeah, by far. So it's exciting games.
And then for us here in Brantford, it's going to mean a retrofit of the Civic Center, badly needed for at least several decades. It'll give us a focus here in the lower downtown area. It has a great spin-off benefit for businesses, restaurants, probably around at least $4 million in terms of the direct economic impact. But you see it in St. Catharines. What does it do for the morale and image of the city?
Well, it changed the downtown core of St. Catharines totally. Brought people to restaurants, parking lots packed, and it totally changed and brought a whole different vibe to the downtown core. That downtown was struggling before the Niagara Ice Dogs were there.
Right. And then also when the team, many of the games are televised, so the name Brantford becomes very prominent. When they're in Ottawa playing the 67s, they'll be playing the Brantford Bulldogs. Yep. So it's a lot of great publicity for our city, putting our city on the map where it should be here in Ontario.
You better believe it.
It's going to mean a real shot in the arm for our community, no doubt about it. Now, Brian, this came together very quickly. The Hamilton Bulldogs were told by Hamilton that they had to be out of their arena by, I guess, the end of this coming summer because of renovations that they're doing in Hamilton. We were contacted by the owner, Michael Andelar, of the Bulldogs in mid-November. Where did it go from there? Knowing we had a very tight timeline to do this.
Yeah, my contact with former City Hamilton, Peggy Chapman, is a senior person with the Bulldogs, and we met with Sonny Smith, yourself, Mr. Mayor, and myself, met with Mr. Andlauer and their GM, and as well as Peggy, and started talking about a possible partnership for this city. And it all took off from there through negotiations and looking at renovations, and then after that, negotiations on how we could both form a deal having the Bulldogs come here, which would benefit both the city as well as the Bulldogs, a win-win relationship. I think that's the spirit that you had, Mr. Mayor, as well as Mr. Andlauer had to try to make this deal happen.
Yeah, and I saw it as it was a great opportunity coming our way. It had to be done very quickly because the Bulldogs have to have a home and they need to know where that's going to be by February.
Yeah.
And it came together very quickly, but we could have played it safe. We could have said, no, the timeline's too short. We have too much to do here at the Civic Center. But then you know what? We'd be sitting back and Brampton would be hosting the Bulldogs or Cornwall, because those two cities have arenas where the team could really walk in with minimal renovations. And so, Brian, let's talk a little bit about that. I'm going to do a separate video about what has to be done here in the Civic Center. There's quite a few things like proper change rooms, proper areas for the teams. The glass above the boards has to be acrylic plastic, air conditioning, proper concessions, public washrooms. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and very quickly. How much is all that going to probably cost?
That's probably $7.5 million, our first estimate on this, between it all. And as you're right, it's got to be, first of all and foremost, player safety and player experience, right? So we need new glass, benches will change, the penalty box will change, dressing room, medical rooms. After that, it's fan experience, new concessions, new seating, and those sorts of things for fans. And last but not least is the viewer experience, the gondolas. People will be watching this on TV, cable TV, Rogers Cable, or on TV across the province. So those three things were key to the deal.
Right, and for example, the lighting in here has to be 3 times what it is right now for TV.
Yep.
The PA system here is way out of date. It's got to be upgraded. And that scoreboard behind us, has to become like a jumbotron because it has to have video with
video and be interactive. We'll show advertising, very interactive, the scoreboard.
Now, so you said about 8 million, 7.5 million, 8 million, all of this is going to cost. Where is the money going to come from?
Well, we have a casino legacy fund, which doesn't cost the taxpayer anything. It comes from the casino revenues. We have about $7 million in there, so we'll take about $3 million from that casino legacy fund and fund that.
Well, I mean, it makes some sense that the casino right next door will help fund money coming from the casino will help fund renovations, but we're not paying for all of it.
No, the other 3 million will be ours. About 40% of it. The other half will come from the Bulldogs themselves because they'll be investing in the arena for their athletes and for their fans.
And the amazing thing is the term of the deal is 3 years. It could be extended another 3 years, depending on what's happening in Hamilton and other locations and what happens here. But if at the end of 3 years, if the Bulldogs leave Brantford and we don't have another OHL team coming in, the agreement calls for the Bulldogs to repay to us the $3 million that we're throwing into the kitty.
Yes, 100%. If another OHL, they don't stay, or another OHL team doesn't come in a year, they pay back the $3 million. And then
and we'll be able to keep the renovations that are done to this building. So it's a really good deal. We've been dealing with a team owner that has a lot of confidence in Brantford, thinks that an OHL team can succeed here in Brantford. Many others don't think that, do they, Brian?
No, they didn't think that originally. We know this is a hockey town. We know the surrounding area is. None other than, look at some of the people who came from this town and grew up in this town. We know it's going to be successful, and so does he. So that's why he's here.
And it's, hockey's in our DNA here in Brantford. And you know what? If Brantford can't make an OHL team, who the heck can? Yeah. But I mean, it's a great opportunity for us to show that our community can do it. Our community can support an OHL team. And if we do a great job of supporting this team, lots of sold out arenas, who knows? We could have an OHL team here on a very long-term basis.
And other people have expressed interest too, Mr. Mayor, beyond hockey. And so when we look at renovating this place, it will mean upgrading the HVAC units, and teams like basketball teams and lacrosse teams have already expressed interest in coming here, as well as other venues such as boxing and other venues coming here as well.
Right, because this building basically is dormant. Nothing's happening here in the summer because there's no air conditioning.
No.
And so the original vision for the Civic Center had this being the place, a civic center not just for hockey, but for all kinds of events. Trade shows, concerts, that sort of thing. Yeah. That's no longer feasible because of climate change. But with air conditioning in the building, we'll begin to see concerts back here in the summer. Perhaps a higher level of lacrosse, basketball. And so on the off season, there will be a lot of activity in this building, kind of similar to what the people who first built it in 1967, that's what their vision was for this building.
And this will extend the life of the building that much longer than what originally proposed. This will extend the life a lot longer, and also probably provide some sound barriers in here to bring concerts to the Civic Center and have venues like this here.
Yeah, so it's all very exciting what it means, not only for this building, but also for, of course, this city and this region. Mm-hmm. Now, there is a concern that we do have other hockey groups in here in the weekends. How are we going to deal with that? Because most of the games are Friday, but some OHL games are Saturday, some are Sunday, some are Thursday night. Yeah. How are we doing with that?
So we've worked to deal with the Bulldogs, and most of the home games will be Friday nights, but there will be other nights. We have talked to the Junior A and Junior B clubs, and they're looking at the venue being upgraded, and they will try to accommodate their schedules, our schedules. We think there's about 1.4 games a week here, and we know we can accommodate both the local leagues as well as the other leagues.
And the other recreational leagues that play here, the church hockey, will be there'll be some disruption, but we're hoping to minimize that. And because we had the same problem when the Brantford Blast played here. They played mainly on Friday evenings. So we're used to that here at the Civic Center. We've got prior experience in how to deal with that, how to juggle the various schedules. And of course, we have other arenas and rinks as well. Mm-hmm. I got to say, Brian, I am so enthused that the Brantford Bulldogs are coming to Brantford. There's, a sports team. There's a semi-professional hockey team. Yeah. I mean, they go to communities that are successful. They go to communities that are growing. They go to communities that have a good future. They don't go to communities that aren't doing well or struggling. No. So that's why this is a vote in Brantford, a vote of confidence in us, and we have to show that we support OHL hockey, that we support a proper civic center for a lot of different things just beyond hockey.
Totally. And they do things in the community. They visit the hospital, they visit schools, they have school games in the middle of the day where they bring all the elementary schools in the community here and make it a community effort. And they give those young children that are in grade 3 and grade 4 aspiration to be future athletes and be drive to future goals.
Yeah, because when you have a young kid come here to watch a Bulldogs game with their parents and they're walking past the dressing room of the Brantford Bulldogs, and they skate when they're practicing in their church hockey league on the Brantford Bulldog logo, you don't think that'll inspire them? It will.
Yep.
More Wayne Gretzky's coming out of this community. So I want you to all to know this, that this is a great opportunity for our city, but it only works if we all support it.